What's going on, everyone? My name is Merten here from DataDash, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's review, I want to spend some time to talk about a crypto project that is actively giving everyone the ability to participate in the process of market making. Not only one of the most vital components of crypto markets, but also one of the most lucrative. Today, we're going to be talking about none other than Reform DAO and how through its own decentralized autonomous organization, you can play a fractional role in the process of market making for established market pairs on well-known cryptocurrencies, as well as new projects that need that additional liquidity in order to bootstrap an ecosystem and actually establish a market. We've got a lot to unpack here in today's video, not only covering the basics of market making for those who may be new to it, but also talking about how Reform DAO is aiming to democratize participation in this process. If you haven't enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like, and let's go ahead and kick things off. So I want to start here from kind of a high level overview. Before we even dive into Reform as a project, we kind of need to understand what market making really is. And this can sometimes be a difficult thing for people to understand. It may be a surprise for many people because you might have participated in crypto markets and might have just believed that when you're going through buying or selling a position, maybe for example, you want to buy some Ethereum and you have some stable coins, so you go from USDT to Ethereum, or vice versa, maybe you're selling your crypto position. Many people just believe that you're trading with another person on the other side of the trade, but in reality, it is very likely that you may be interacting with a market maker. And market makers are a vital and essential component in pretty much any market. It is true in traditional equities, it's true in commodities, in forex markets, and it's also true in crypto. This illustration, though, can help you to understand how a market maker plays a role as an intermediary between a seller or a buyer. Essentially speaking, when you're going out there and placing a market order, in the example we were talking about earlier, to buy Ethereum with your USDT or US dollar equivalent stablecoin, it is very likely that you're going to be interacting with a market maker to get the best available price on the market. And essentially, this margin between you as a buyer and the seller at the end of the day, or vice versa, is essentially going to give the market maker a slight cut or margin, because they are going to be able to give you essentially the best available rate on the market. And with that, they're going to be able to use the margin between the existing market price and the best available price to be able to make a profit at the end of the day. So this process of market making is not only to the benefit of the market maker, but also to the broader crypto ecosystem here. It allows for order books to become much more liquid and for people to be able to actually trade on a variety of different market pairs and be able to have immediate liquidity on those trades. So the thing is here that market making has been around for a long time. It is a vital thing within the crypto ecosystem, and Reform DAO has basically focused on essentially taking this entire concept of market making away from a few centralized parties like GSR, as well as a whole range of their companies that have really been the backbone of market making over the last couple of years in crypto. And not to mention a very lucrative part of crypto market. You consider the trading volume that goes on in crypto, you can start to talk about making some big bucks, millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars over the course of years. Considering this, Reform has focused on creating a DAO that allows for people to essentially pool funds together through its bonding curve and be able in a decentralized fashion to allocate its total value locked, which is currently 32.3 million, towards a variety of different market making practices, whether that be established market pairs on leading pairs where a lot of volume and trading is going on, or for newly established projects where they have various different revenue models to generate capital back for the DAO and ideally grow the project and the value of the Reform ecosystem. So let's go ahead and just talk about it here. First off, this is the dashboard here when you're connected. It's very simple. There's a couple different key things to understand here. You can see the circulating supply of the native Reform token, or RFRM. We'll talk about that in a little bit, as well as the market cap here, which includes the stake supply, but along with that as well, the bonding curve, which is a vital part that we need to discuss here in regards to the project being decentralized at its core. So let's go ahead and talk about this here. First off, when we're talking about the bonding curve, this is a way where projects in a decentralized fashion, similar to when you're trading, for example, on Uniswap, how you have a kind of bonding curve that essentially allows for the price on Uniswap V2, for example, for the token price to be determined by buying and selling. Essentially, with this bonding curve, it allows for people to get a discount rate on the RFRM token to incentivize long-term participation. And with this, it's important to understand that essentially all the tokens that enter into circulation here from the bonding curve are essentially coming from the DAO in this case. So for people who want to step into the ecosystem, who want to participate in this process, essentially they're exchanging USDT, USDC, Ethereum, in exchange for RFRM, which is the actual direct governance token. So this gives them a weighted ownership in the broader Reform DAO and the entire process of any kind of returns that are made from the market making process, right? So again, it's kind of an active ticket and participating within the broader ecosystem. Again, I'm not here to say that you guys need to buy RFRM token or anything like that. I'm just trying to understand from a utility perspective that this is really at the end of the day, it's a real actual example of a direct governance token because there is a revenue model, there's a business tied to it. So again, at the end of the day, it's fully decentralized, it's open for anyone's participation, and it's completely transparent here, which is really great to see here. No funny business. They basically have a clear amount of tokens allocated here towards this entire process within the DAO through the bonding curve. And along with that as well, individuals are able to stake it and earn additional APR. Within that process, there's an allocated amount of the token portion for providing liquidity, as well as those who are willing to stake. So all those token metrics and kind of functions have already been established and clear from day one. But the main thing here is really the trading process. So we can see here on the trading statistics, essentially how that liquidity is being allocated. You can see that the trading treasury is broken down by some major currencies like USDT, ETH, Solana, all the way down to a set of unique tokens as well, where there might be market making on maybe lesser known pairs or smaller mid-cap plays in the crypto space where there are opportunities. But the idea here is that through utilizing artificial intelligence and utilizing their algorithmic process for market making, similar to how some market makers might use it, but we'll talk a little bit as well that there's some information on the docs about how they take it to the next level with advancements in AI. Essentially, they're able to build a process here that can do thousands upon thousands of trades here on a given day, up to 234,000 over the last 24 hours. And this will essentially allow for them to be able to generate fractional bits of revenue here and there through the market making process, helping to fulfill orders on the other side of the trade, and essentially taking into account that margin. You can see that the protocol has already done nearly $8.3 billion in trading volume. And again, you can start to see here how even with a pool of $32 million of liquidity, which is definitely a lot of money, but the grand scheme of DeFi, this is still quite early, right? It's a small amount in the grand scheme of things. 32 million can be used to generate a lot of trading volume. And the protocol so far has already generated over $436,000 in real world revenue. So there is a real practical ability here to generate revenue through this facilitation of market making, especially if you have a refined process. It can be really predictable and something in which can generate a really sizable amount of income long term. Now, again, I just want to highlight here some of the details in the docs section, which again, you guys can check out at docs.reformdao.com. Definitely do your due diligence on it and dive deeper into it far beyond what we talk about here today if you are interested in it. But the main thing I want to talk about here is really the kind of circular process of the ecosystem. So essentially you have this engine, which is facilitating two services, either to project market making or, for example, on those larger established pairs here. So providing market making for large pairs like BTC, USDT, ETH, USDT, Solana, well-known protocols that are established in the crypto space through liquidity provision, or essentially through providing the service of project market making. So think about early ecosystem projects. If you wanted to launch a new token today, if you had the best idea in the world, right? The next big DeFi application or next greatest meme coin, doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you're launching a token. And the biggest thing that a token needs beyond community, beyond ideally some utility and some real value proposition that people actually want to invest in or trade on, the other thing you're going to need is liquidity. You are going to need a market making strategy from day one. And this is critical for any project to actually succeed long term. Any project that you know of out there that has done well had a market making strategy at the end of the day, or people who are actively participating in market making. So it's important to understand that there's another entire wing here of opportunity, which is servicing new ecosystem projects within the broader Web3 space across a variety of narratives. And these are the two ways where the DAO essentially generates revenue and grows larger over time. And what's great about that is that once that DAO treasury starts to generate revenue, they can pull it back into the process of liquidity provision. They can pull it back into doing new market making services for even larger upcoming projects, allowing the DAO treasury to grow its business over time. So it's really quite predictable. It's relatively transparent here. There's not too much magic voodoo going on. It's all out there and very clear. The big innovation, in my view, is really this ability to have it run and process through a DAO. There are some details here about the market making layer if you're interested to learn about this, the operations around the treasury, the bonding router as well. So essentially making sure that this is actually secure and that funds are allocated for market making purposes. And outside of that as well, the bonding treasury. This to me is really the biggest component here, that it's really on a kind of first come first serve basis, and it's all out there, transparent. You're able to get the token at a discount if you believe in that long-term vision for the project. So for me, this is all really exciting stuff here. Again, we wouldn't be able to dive through every single detail here within the documents today, but the core component here is that there's a very clear revenue model for the DAO, unlike a lot of DAOs, even for large established protocols. You think about Uniswap or Compound, where people own the governance token to these protocols, but there's no real revenue generation happening. The fees that are charged are paid to those who are providing liquidity, let's say Uniswap, or at the end of the day. So there's not really any real revenue generation for some of the biggest established DeFi protocols. In this case, Reform DAO is already revenue generating from day one, and it's focused on that practical application of applying liquidity where it's most needed in the market to be able to generate rebates, generate revenue, and be able to pay back to the DAO, and essentially make the Reform token more valuable as an end token, as it is an ownership of that DAO ecosystem. So this is really the key thing here. If you're interested in learning a bit more about the details of the ecosystem, again, you can find that here within the RFRM section or the tokenomics section within the broader doc section. But at the end of the day here, again, think of this as kind of your access point into the broader DAO and having some stake in that broader process of market making. What I like about it here is that you have all the data transparent here, any trades that are being processed across markets, how that capital is being allocated, along with as well the revenue generated. And essentially you can see how the DAO is evolving over time and providing this service. The other things that I really like here is that they are using artificial intelligence here, some of the big advancements we've seen in large language models to be able to make market making even more smart. I want to kind of go out on a limb here and say that market making, from my experience over the last couple of years, has already been a pretty lucrative industry since back in 2017 when I got really active in crypto. But now with AI, this is just going to get even more lucrative here. It's going to become much more automated. And again, with crypto being such a large market, it's kind of an open sea market. There's a lot of room to provide market making services, let alone with AI advancements being able to do it in a much more cost effective way. There's some really good details here that you can dive into, but how essentially how Reform utilizes AI to basically focus on anomalies, precursors, a whole range of different elements that can help in boosting the efficiency of the market making process. Because at the end of the day, market making can have some pitfalls. It's not an absolute guarantee of making revenue, but if you have a market making strategy, especially if you're applying AI in this case, you are going to dramatically increase the effectiveness of market making, whereby you not only can provide much more valuable market making to the market, so it's at the benefit of the end user, but beyond that as well, to be able to generate much more revenue long term. So this is something that's really exciting here. They have some different docs that go through talking about how they utilize machine learning as well as large language models to be able to go through and actually improve the broader performance of their market making service across various different pairs, and to essentially lead to a lower standard deviation over the long run. So this is exciting stuff here. If you guys are interested, check into the doc section, read into that. I definitely think it could be valuable for you. And outside of this, well, one other big thing I really like is that a lot of the team, whether it's the core contributors or as well the advisors, are not only well-known names, but some of them are obviously doxed as well. This is good to see, even though that the DAO is decentralized. I definitely think that this is a good move here in regards to providing the market making services. So we actually understand here about some of the experience that some of these different players have in the market when it comes to market making, because it does take industry knowledge to be able to make it succeed. You can even utilize AI, but at the end of the day, you need to have that fundamental understanding of market making and how it actually plays a vital role in both centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. So at the end of the day, definitely check out the team here, take a look through there, dive into some of the details around what they're building and what they've built before in the past. But overall, at the end of the day, guys, if you're looking at it from kind of like an investment perspective, well, I'm not here to tell you guys, again, you have to buy Reform DAO in this case. I think overall, at least the token metrics and the token utilities are very clear, which I really like. For a DeFi protocol or a DAO, it's relatively small in the grand scheme of things. Again, because of that bonding curve, the total supply versus circulating here is definitely quite large versus, there's quite a big disparity here. So it is important to understand that the project is early on. It is definitely a small cap play here. It is something that, again, as time passes, ideally you'll see more of that token supply enter into the market as people interact with the bonding curve. But what I like is that it's clean, cut, and dry here, essentially, in interacting with the bonding curve. It's transparent, and this is something that, again, I really think is quite a professional thing to see in the crypto space for the long run. Again, at the end of the day, guys, what I like about it, it's revenue generating. It gives everyone the ability to have the freedom to participate in market making as a service without having to do a lot of the heavy lifting or having to run all these complex systems, let alone running an entire company that usually requires dozens upon dozens of employees in order to go out and provide these market making services and do business relations. And in this case, a lot of it is automated through the DAO and its use of AI technology. And I think that this is something that is really cool because it essentially, as it's getting more and more lucrative here to do market making, it's going to be passed on to the end users who participate in the DAO, not just some centralized company or business. So this is really exciting stuff. And outside of that, they've got liquidity across a variety of market pairs. If you don't want to buy it to the bonding curve and just prefer to trade it or purchase it through an exchange, they not only have their Uniswap V2 pool, but outside of this, well, they're listed on BitGet, Maxi, and Gate.io. And they're also going to be having the listing on Bitpanda coming up soon, which is a large exchange in Europe. So if you guys are interested to learn more about the project, definitely check out the link down below in the description. Take a dive through it, do your own due diligence. Let me know what you think down below in the comments as well about this. Are you excited about the potential to potentially participate in the process of market making? Is it still maybe something that's over your head or a little bit complex? If you guys would like to learn more, again, there will be a lot of details in the docs section that will help to clarify any of those questions. But until the next video, everyone, if you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video here on the DataDash channel. But until then, see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.